What up, Melvin7 here, and today I'm bringing you Hoop Form's Best Episode 1. If you haven't seen the tournament tree, it will be in the description. 16 players, this is the cheap striker edition, and the first game was between Welbeck and Slimani. I have already played the games and I do already know who's won, so I'm not going to show you the records or anything because that kind of might give it away. But yeah, I've built a very solid team, 4-3-1-2, and yeah, obviously the main idea, if you don't know, I'll briefly go through it now. I play 3 games and then the match ratings of each of the 3 games for these 2 players are taken. I get an average, and whoever comes out with the highest average moves on to the quarterfinals. So yeah, let's get straight into the gameplay. Obviously this is a tournament formula and I've got to play with each of the 16 strikers, but I don't think these are a good matchup. Like, they didn't seem to complement each other. I didn't really enjoy playing with them. They had their moments, but I think individually they can probably be good, but I just don't think they worked as a partnership overall for me. Of course, that's not what we're actually doing. We're finding out which one performs better, which is why I've gave a relatively super team behind them. But yeah, Danny Welbeck opens the scoring. Well, he didn't actually. My opponent did, but then Danny Welbeck gets an equaliser there. Slimani bursts through, and that was probably the fastest he's looked in this entire thing. He gets an assist, passing that off to Gylfi Sigurdsson. And then Slimani again doing well to get around the player, and then that's probably the best goal this episode, to be fair. It's a very nice finish from Slimani. Their finishing was very temperamental. You'll see a couple of misses that I show. That's a brilliant goal from my opponent, to be fair. And it did finish 3-2. So on to game 2. Standardised Serie A team. Nothing amazing there. It's relatively cheap. Alexandro might be one of the most expensive players in that team. But anyhow, I begin the break. Pogba here loses the ball, but he gets it back. Welbeck slots it through to Pogba. He does very well here to get round the player, and then in that scenario Pogba is not going to miss. But we do get another chance in the 77th minute. I think Slimani bursts through, takes a shot. It's unfortunately deflected straight to the goalkeeper, and then in the 89th minute, Slimani again doing some, well, I was going to say doing some good work. That doesn't really make any sense. Good work there. Welbeck just can't find the finishing. Like the finish. But the finishing was poor from Slimani and Welbeck overall. I'd say sometimes, honestly, they were just inconsistent, I would say, as a partnership, which is why I didn't find them terrific. But of course, one of them will go through, and yeah, that's a good finish from Pato to make it 1-0 for him. Bruno, I gave him far too much space, and Bruno's got a lethal shot, well, long range shot, as I'm sure you're aware. But anyway, I get back in it there with a header from Welbeck from a corner. Then I give the ball to Paul Pogba. He finds Slimani bursting through. The thing is, neither of these had like blistering pace, which is why I found it a problem. But Slimani with another cracking assist there for Paul Pogba to slot that in. But unfortunately, my opponent makes it 4-2, winning the ball back just outside my own half. And he gets through again. Sorry, it was 3-2, but he's going to make it 4-2 there with a nice finesse. Perhaps De Gea probably should have done a bit better there. But anyway, Welbeck passes it off to Slimani. I'm not giving up here, and Slimani's very unlucky there to see it hit off the post. In the 75th minute, I get a corner. It's off the post, cleared off the line. Smalling with a ridiculous header there from 1 yard out to make it 4-3. And that is how that game finished. So on to the match ratings for Welbeck and Slimani. In game 1, Welbeck got a 9.1 and Slimani a 9.2. That was, incidentally, their best game. Moving on to game 2, Welbeck got a 7.9 and Slimani a 7.7, so it's looking extremely close at the minute. Heading on to game 3, 8.6 for Danny Welbeck and a 7.9 for Slimani. So although I didn't really like them as a partnership, overall they did kind of get high ratings, so maybe I'm moaning just a little bit too much, but I don't know. Anyway, the average is 8.26 for Slimani and 8.53 for Welbeck. So that does mean that Danny Welbeck is the victor for this episode. So he is the first quarterfinalist in this tournament. I'll bring out episode 2 in a few days. I'll try and do this twice a week. It might be once a week for some weeks because there's a lot of squad building challenges, squad builders and all that if you haven't checked out, check out my channel if you're interested, I suppose. But anyhow, hopefully you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and yeah, peace.